So hello everyone, and thank you very much all for this amazing workshop. Today I would like to talk about how two basic keywords, migration and women, have been configured in a participatory museum project in which I take role as coordinator and curator. So in 2014, I was assigned to the Federal German Migrant Women Association's Library of Generation project by the Historical Museum Frankfurt, where the project will be housed until 2105. The Library of Generations was initiated by Hamburg-based artist Sigrid Sigurdsson as a reminiscence project. In other words, it's a memory project. And in this manner, individuals and institutions were given a shelf, and they were asked to create an archival box or a book, and the content purely belongs to the authors, who are invited by the project based on particular themes related to the city, such as education, 1968, Second World War, and migration, or some other related topics. Today, the creator of the Library of Generations, Dr. Angela Janelli, is with us in the room, and I'm pretty sure she would be more than happy to answer your further questions about the, she's there, your questions about the project. And the project is on third floor as a part of the Frankfurt Now exhibition. And back to our project. The Federal German Migrant Women Association was founded in 2005 in Frankfurt am Main and then expanded to more than 20 German cities. The women coming from different geographies in Turkey present diverse ethnical and religious identities, which means they are not just Turkish, they are also Turkish, Kurdish, they are just not Sunnis, they are Sunnis, Alevis, deist or atheist. And they participate or organize demonstrations, hand out pamphlets, conduct close relationship with their women, mainly female feminist institutions, and cooperate to further common interests. In this manner, Library of Generations project aims to archive their stories in various forms. Archival materials are produced following after a series of workshops, and they are basically instruments for women to tell their own stories beyond some common concepts which have been associated with migration. The project, which was kicked off in June 2014, includes two participatory exhibitions as well. 2015 was the 10th anniversary of the foundation of the Federal German Migrant Women Association. There was an anniversary festival in Cologne, and with the aim of reflecting back, we decided to write ABC of Migrant Women Association, a female dictionary. The participatory exhibition project was contributed by the women who take place in organizational struggling in different regions in Germany. So first we held a workshop in Frankfurt where 15 to 20 women from close cities could have joined to this workshop. And I asked them to fill out a form, which is basically a list of the letters existed in Turkish alphabet. They wrote down the words which came to their mind first, starting with each letter. The same worksheet was also sent to all regions, and at the end, we managed to establish a word pool, including more than 100 proposals. In order to set the dictionary, we also established an exhibition advisory board, and we discussed each proposal based on the association's struggling area, and eventually the dictionary entries were distributed to 11 contributed regions, like cities, we can say. My role as a participatory exhibition creator was only providing some advices, such as not only adding classical sociocultural concepts, but also colors, clothes, emotions, beauty products as well, as they also represent what the women have been fighting for in their daily lives. On the other hand, my role was also to keep the materials sent by the region in original forms, because naturally, text and images might have caused some discussions, and I was replying all objections by saying, we will write the region's name, so feel free, it's in their own responsibility. The advisory board was in charge to review materials in regard of the mission and the vision of the association, so it's more about editing. And when we determined any inappropriate situation, I was calling the women in the city, in the region, explaining them the situation and asking to review their materials. Of course, it would be easier if the advisory board did the changes, but it would be against of the nature of participation. Therefore, my creator role was somewhere in between editing and motivating the women in the regions. Because I was also receiving replies saying, it's okay for us, you can do the changes, whatever it is necessary. And then I was replying back, no, it's your text, your interpretation, and it should include your words. Among all letters, there is one specific case that I want to highlight here in order to share some hints from our participatory curatorship experiences in this project. It's Djibouti. In Turkish, there is not any vocabulary starting with this letter. When the women were filling the worksheet in our first workshop, their first reaction to this situation was, shall we remove it? I didn't want to go with the shortcut, so I said, let's think about in alternative narratives, and I asked, what does gibberish mean to you in the context of your struggles? Then a woman came up with the idea of puzzle and suggested to leave a piece of puzzle blank and write, if you are not involved, we are missing one. There might not be any vocabulary starting with gibberish, but it is used very often in Turkish, like in language. And here is the latest version of the text and the image, which is directly pointing out being a woman, in particular first in Turkey and then in all over the world. Since the beginning, my idea was have a pop-up museum style exhibition design, which would be helpful to travel the exhibition around. In this framework, the exhibition designer suggested to print materials on canvas and hang them simply on walls or pinboards wherever the exhibition venue. The exhibition was first on display in Cologne in November 2015, and then we had one-day event here, exactly in this room, at Frankfurt Historical Museum in June 2016. Soon after, the exhibition booklets were traveled to Istanbul in November 2016, and finally it was exhibited in the framework of the 8th of March festivals in Berlin in March 2017, which paved the way for an invitation from IG Metall Syndikat in Berlin-Kreuzberg. So the invitation led us to our second participatory exhibition, World from Female Perspective. Again, as a participatory exhibition curator, I illustrated the very first draft of the concept, and then we had a meeting with the exhibition designer and the women from the association, again, who are forming the advisory boards. They explained what kind of materials they have for displaying, and based upon that meeting, the designer illustrated venue as it will be hosting the exhibition, because they were a bit scared when they heard this 100 square meter place and exhibition venue. So the exhibition designer helped us like dividing the venue in sections and saying this part of materials will be hosted here and the other will be hosted here. So we also put a call to all regions and asked them to send us exhibition materials such as photos, flyers, flags, handcrafts. In the end, the exhibition organization team made all decisions. You can see them here. And my role as a participatory exhibition creator was keeping the train on the track in terms of reminding the priorities, because we had 1 month till the opening and women could panic at any moment. It could cause a chaos in terms of task order. Therefore, I was there to assure that this is the urgent one and no, this can wait a little bit more. So eventually we had 5 main sections. Our first participatory exhibition project, you can see it turned out somehow an art installation instead of someone can read it properly. And then we had photo album. You can see a little bit on left-hand side. And it was totally created and installed in the venue by the woman. And a room of its own. Here on the right-hand side, on first photo, is the covers of Women's Association's magazine, Woman Magazine, because this magazine both expresses the women's sociocultural and political engagement, and also it's their principal reaching out material. And then we had socio-political campaign materials and handcrafts composed of remade, relive. You can see on the right-hand side, below the photo. And then we had chest, which is above the right side photo. Chest was referring to the traditional wedding boxes in Turkey, actually. All the flags, slogans, banners, etc. were what the women in the association had been producing for their rights, similar to a young woman in Turkey who collects home textiles for their marriage. In the framework of this project, I have been very often asked the social engagement, actually. How did you gather the women together? And actually, I didn't. They were there already politically engaged and ready to express themselves in different forms. My role was to motivate them to discover and to display the potential that they already have. Therefore, we established a project website. It's bdg119.de, a combination of the project names, abbreviation, and our shelf number, which is changed now. And the aim is to document the project by writing short blog posts following after each workshop. At the end of each workshop, the responsible of the working group was writing a short text as summary, and we posted it on our blog and circulated on social media and WhatsApp. As much as the women received visibility and were congratulated, I have observed that they were more motivated to engage with this project. Unfortunately, due to the recent EU data protection regulations, we had to take our websites under maintenance, and I hope, I have some copies of dictionary here in German and Turkish version, please feel free to take, and I hope we can update you via migrationcities.net when we were back online. And to wrap up, the library, I believe the Library of Generations provided migrant women, provide an opportunity to migrant women to tell their own stories in their own narratives. We have been seeing a series of exhibitions concentrating on migrant issues through the projects done with migrants. But the Library of Generation is one of the rare projects providing a platform to migrants that they can execute, they can purely do whatever they want in their own narrative, in their own words. For a very long time, migration was often represented in museums by displaying suitcases, which can be considered as a romantic representation of migrants. They pack their little lives in a suitcase and leave for a foreign country. In many museum displays, suitcases stand for the good old days, but also for poverty and for the hope for a better life. Furthermore, instead of presenting migrant groups by a variety of themes, such as their struggles, achievements, and goals, museums prefer to link migration to the national history, emphasizing the concept of multiculturalism. Thus, a picture of different people living together happily was drawn. The basic problem with this picture is that it doesn't reflect the change in time and space. For instance, today, the terminology of migrant is mostly replaced with citizen, with migration origin, which shows us the importance of rethinking how to display migration in museums. In this conceptual framework, our museological and curatorial experience in the Federal German Migrant Women Association's Library of Generations Project, housed in the Historical Museum Frankfurt, aims to archive the history of migrant women in the perspective of documenting their struggles through the years, achievements in the present day, and goals for the future. Thank you.